While you're reading this disclaimer, don't forget to subscribe, tap that like button, and do your laundry before mom yells at you again. Hey, what's going on, trading kings and queens? Welcome to the next video where we're going to be going over in our trading basics video series, the B.I.T method results. So again, I've talked already about how this method actually works. Let me actually just show you some additional trades using this particular method. And as usual, first of all, this is education only. This is not financial advice. Please talk to a certified professional if you're looking for specific financial advice. That being said, if you're watching this on YouTube, please click the link in the description to access the free members area so you can get access to the slides for not just this video, not just all the videos in this free course, but all of the videos in any of my free courses. I'm going to be doing giving all the slides in the members area. Any PDFs, guides, checklists, any other resources that I have available, I'll be posting back there, as well as you're going to get notified of free live training so you can look over my shoulder as I trade. So again, let's jump in and let's look at some specific examples of the B.I.T method. So I don't have this usually written on my charts, B.I.T on the side. I just kind of put this over here as a reference as to what I really think that I like my mindset as I go through this, right? So what I really think about, okay, when's the spot to enter the trade? Where's the spot that I should be setting my take profit, et cetera, et cetera. So, and the reason why I do that is because I'm literally in my brain going through B, I, and T. Order blocks, indicators, and the trends, right? So I don't have the time at the bottom of this chart, but I'm assuming that, you know, the beginning of this right here is maybe around open, or maybe this was all pre-market and then the open was here. But all this is just, you know, steadily moving, nice pullback. If I was in the market at this time, I would have looked for a buy right here and just ridden that all the way up to the top. Hopefully that would be a +3 and I'd be out, kind of a thing. But knowing that more than likely this was right before the open, I would have been not in a trade and not looking to hold anything as far as that goes. But all of this momentum in the upwards direction is one thing. At this is the T. This is the trend, right? But here's the bigger trend. You see the King's Cloud indicator right here, this red cloud that's kind of like this up and down stair step right here. This is a bigger cloud on a bigger time frame. The smaller time frame, I see a red cloud here. Kind of goes back and forth, hence all these King of Diamonds right here. And then it changes to green. And then I would have followed this green all the way up and like I said, taken that trade. Again, looking for a buy. It tapped and closed solid above our Royal Bloodline line right here. And then this green cloud behind the price action you could see is, again, looking for buys. So again, taking the buy right here, riding it up. Great. But we don't know how high exactly that's going to go. I might have been able to get in this and gotten a +3. I might have gotten in this and only, you know, come out at a +1 or a break even. Why? Because this, let me back up. This right here was a pullback during the buy. But look, all of this green was a pullback in the greater downward trend here. You see, again, we're in a downward trend. So I should, like, I can try and counter trade. I can try and go along with whatever's on the smaller time frame. It's going to be easier, and you'll have the opportunity to make a lot more money if you're looking for trades in the same direction as the bigger cloud on King's Cloud indicator, right? So big King's Cloud indicator is red, so we're looking for sells. We had a nice retracement. This was a nice pullback. As soon as we started to break this trend right here, I had a trend line kind of drawn from this bottom and what could have been this bottom here. We broke this trend. So instead of it bouncing on this trend line and bouncing on our Royal Bloodline right here and coming up and me getting into another buy and riding this higher, it went back and reverted to the greater trend of this red here. We had a break of structure underneath this yellow line and a break of structure below all of these lows here. So again, like we on the indicator and then on the trend itself, I and T, that was 2 check boxes in B.I.T. I require at least 2, if not 3. 3 is rarer, but you can have some really big trades on a 3, meaning we're looking at the entry for a B, I, and T. This was a indicator trade, meaning that we have the red King of Diamonds, we have the red cloud here, and it's retracing back down. So the indicator is, again, indicating that this was a good sell opportunity, right? And then T, the trend was heading up, but we had a break of structure on the opposite side of that trend. So again, I and T was already taken care of. So now I'm in the trade, I'm in the sell. It could have come back up and retested this trend line again and hopefully not hit my stop loss. Luckily, it did not. Went almost right down, almost called that immediately. Like within, it looks like this is a 5-minute time chart. So within 5 minutes of me taking this trade, we weren't just back, making sure we were break even, a little bit of profit. It shot down. I was probably already at a +2 or 3. Probably would have gotten out of this trade if I had my take profit set at a +3 automatically. But where did I set up my take profit? In this case, I could have right here. This is a yellow order block. It's a 15-minute order block. This is traditionally where a lot of buying would happen. Again, if it's an order block at the top, a lot of selling would be happening there. If it's an order block below our current price, it's where a lot of buying is going to happen, where the price could typically reverse. And look exactly what it did. I could have set my take profit all the way back down here and gotten out literally on that exact wick. Why? Because a lot of buyers did come into the market. Now, I didn't do that. It looks like I moved my stop loss probably down to above these wicks and everything in here, and then let it continue down and retest this order block. And that retest failed, or I should say it succeeded in continuing the trend down. But I was like, you know what? There's a lot of ups and downs and, consolidation. So I think the reason why I have this box pulled out all the way to here is because I moved my stop loss back up to the bottom of this order block when it continued below. It didn't continue below, further down, and it retraced back up. Again, I probably could have gotten out down here, but I didn't know. Who's going to know, right? I mean, nobody has an exact crystal ball, but I look at the confluences, I look at where things have happened in the past, and I make my best guess. And in this case, this was a plus 7.7 trade, meaning our risk-reward ratio was 7.7. If I risked $100, I made about $770. If I risked $1,000, I made $7,700 on that trade. Not bad, right? So really good example of I had 2 out of the 3 confluences. I had the indicator telling me, what's the greater trend. I had the indicator telling me King of Diamonds, this upward smaller trend is reversing back in to go with the major trend, meaning this was a nice pullback and a continuation into the downward trend. Perfect entry, nearly perfect exit. If I had, looked at this before, I might have been able to get out down here and maybe made an extra $500. I didn't care. I ain't gonna complain about a +7. You know what I mean? That's pretty good. So here's another one. Let's jump into an additional example here. So in this one, I'm on the 1 minute time frame, and you can see that the 1 minute time frame is indicated up here by this number 1, and because these clouds are a little bit bigger and more defined than the last one, if I go back here, this was the 1 minute time frame cloud as well, but we were on the 5 minutes, so it looks really tiny. It looks pretty small, right? In this case, we had a change in this 1 minute, and again, I'm on the 1 minute because I'm just scalping here. We had a change from green, a transition from red, this red cloud, into a green cloud. So now I'm looking for buys. We came up, it didn't quite hit this high right here, but when it started to go back down, but we didn't break even this low of these candles in here, where it was kind of like a slight pullback here, right? So because we hadn't really gone any lower than this, I waited for this trend line to break. I was already in another trend right here, right? So is this trend going to follow this trend, this yellow trend line down? Or is the price going to continue to follow this trend line up? Because we already hit here, we're hit here, and it's starting to continue up. So I waited until we had a break above this trend line. The price also broke above this high, and it actually broke above this high of this green candle as well. Retraced back down, just tapped our royal bloodline right here, right? So now we're in an indicator, green cloud, right? We're in a green momentum on the royal bloodline, and we had a green candle that closed above the royal bloodline. Again, so I'm using the indicator here almost solely. I could have gotten in on that. But because I had another break of structure up above this trend, I'm using the T and B.I.T as well. So I and T both told me, hey, This is perfect in terms of an entry. Give it a shot. Now, could this have reversed and come back down and retested it? And I was in drawdown a little bit down here. And, this is the emotions like, oh, God, what if I lose? What if I don't? Whatever. If this started to retest and actually drop below this trend line again, I would have gotten out. Even if it was a minus 0.5 or a full -1 for hitting my stop loss, I'd just be out of it and call it a loss for the day. And then I'd probably go look at something else until this particular chart, started to form additional patterns again. But it didn't. Again, a little bit of luck. This price here could have just went up and retested this high at these levels, and then shot back down, and I would have either maybe gotten a +1, maybe just to break even and call it. But in this case, this shot all the way up. Price came here. It came back down and retested. Oops. I didn't mean to click there. It retested lower than I thought it would. I think I moved my stop loss below the wick for this candle right here. As you can see, hopefully you can see the arrow pointing towards the right wick. And then unfortunately, I got wicked out here. If I stayed in the trade, I could have probably been in this for +7 to +5 or something like that. But hey, you know what? When I pull out 3.49, a +3.5 basically out of the markets, that is still a win. If you're profitable in the markets, you're better than 97% of traders, right? So some people are like, oh, I coulda, woulda, shoulda. Don't beat yourself up. If you won a trade and you pulled profits out of the market, give yourself a pat on the back. You're awesome. So in this case, let me show you what happens when stuff goes wrong. I mean, Adam, your stuff doesn't work every single time. Not necessarily, right? This looks like it was going to be a reversal. We had a trend going down, right? This green cloud got really thin as if it was about to turn to red. So, okay, maybe was it a little bit of a gamble to think that it was just going to continue bouncing up? Maybe, but I went for it anyway and almost immediately dropped past my stop loss. Why? Because, and by the way, I got in because this trend was starting to go down, so this looked like it was going to be a nice pullback. And then as soon as it went above here, I was like, okay, cool. So I have another opportunity to get in, right? Well, it came back down. I did not wait for another green candle up. So again, my trading rules, I should be waiting for a solid green candle above the royal bloodline. So I missed my trading rules. I should have followed my confluences. I got one checkbox. This was my T trend line. It bounced above it. It was looking like it was coming down to retest the bottoms of these prices where these wicks are. I was like, oh, there's a wick here, there's a wick here. That means there's buyers there, right? The buyers are coming in. I'm just gonna get in. It's gonna touch the royal bloodline and bounce like it usually does off the bloodline. I'm fine. I didn't follow my confluences. If I had waited for this to bounce up again, I would have been good. As a matter of fact, I had two large wicks right here that were telling me, hey, those prices are failing at that level. So it's going to come back down. I need to wait for more momentum backward in the upwards direction. So I noticed my error. I screwed up. And even though this made a new low here, I was like, no, we're still in a big green cloud. This hasn't changed yet. I think it's going to come back up and retest this pricing. So as soon as this crosses the royal bloodline, I'm getting in as soon as we're tapping the royal bloodline right here. So we tapped it. It came back down and it was going to retest it. Basically, almost 3 candles in a row, it was going to retest it. And I figured continue up to retest where these wicks were, right? Well, not only came back up and retested where those wicks were, it actually continued. And I was like, I think at this point I had already had a +3 on the day. So I'm like, okay, if this comes back down and retraces, I'm just going to set my stop loss to break even. If this, it's already beaten this price here once. I'm in a green cloud. Let me just keep going, see how high this can go. So as the price continued, I just kept moving my stop loss up to here. Wait, another 10, 15 minutes, move, it does this spike up and a little pullback here, probably move my stop loss to somewhere in this mess, right? Came back up, retraced here and here. So I moved my stop loss to here, started to move another pullback to here and started to come back up, but it started to slow down right here. So I moved my stop loss right below these wicks right here. And lo and behold, what happened? Not only did it wick me out here, it never really came back up to these high prices. And it actually continued down so far that we got a King of Diamonds and a switch to a selling momentum, right? We got it switched to a red King's Cloud, right? So now I'd be looking for sells as far as that goes. But again, I had a -1. Oh, boo-hoo, right? I made a mistake. I didn't follow my rules. I got emotional. I made an assumption that the price was going to make a move when I didn't get a confirmation. And I, in this case, probably lost $1,000. Maybe it fell so fast that I might have been -1,200. But I didn't care because I was already probably a +3 in another trade, and then I had a +8. So again, you can lose 70% of the time and still make money using the B.I.T method strategy. It's pretty awesome. Imagine all these guys that are just like, well, I have a 98% win rate, or I've got an 82% win rate. That's all great, but if that strategy that they're using will lose your entire account with one bad trade, you can have a 99% win rate. There's still going to be that 1% where you blow your entire account. My strategy mitigates risk, and at the same time, you can have a 70% lose rate and still potentially be profitable here. Okay, if you have 3 trades in a row that are -1, and then a trade that's a +8, you're fine. Right? Especially if you're doing just the indicator trade, my kind of watered down trading style. If you have a -1, a -1, a break even, and then a +3, you're still up on the day. You had one big winner out of 5 trades, two losses, 2 break evens, and you still made $1,000, on the day, or $100. Again, it depends upon how much you're risking as far as that goes, but there's that. So that is it for today, guys, in terms of this video. Go on to the next video as we dive deeper into the B.I.T method and show you not necessarily just this is what I did in one screen. I'm going to show you the mindset candle by candle by candle throughout an entire trading day. Would that be of value to you? Keep watching, guys. Remember, like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video.